Hey FLOSSTUBE, it's Leigh from Creative Leigh on Sunday 11th of April 2021 with FLOSSTUBE number 70. Yay, back to some semblance of normal, whatever normal means. But yeah, pleased to be able to sit down this afternoon while the dishwasher's on, sorry about that, and get a wee FLOSSTUBE up for you. I haven't done tons of stitching in the last week. I think I did a tiny bit on Monday after my video, well the next day, to finish I guess the bottom of R-Kade. I'll show that in a minute. And then it wasn't till Dad left, he left on Wednesday. It wasn't really until Friday night that I had the opportunity to pick up any stitching. So yeah, Dad got home, a little bit of snafu with travel, but doesn't matter, he got home. Son's one of his hearing aids, so we think it's fallen out when he took his mask off when we got off the train, and anyway, it's gone. So he didn't realise until he was on the plane to put his mask on again, and it wasn't there in his ear. So, oh well, he has insurance, so he'll have to get them replaced. But yeah, it was nice having Dad here, but I was pretty knackered by the time he left. Just haven't had any quiet time for 2 weeks, and I like my quiet time. I went to a movie on Thursday night with a friend, so I'm like, yay, Dad's gone, and I get the place to myself. Oh, but I'll go out for a movie. So Laura and I went to see The French Exit with Michelle Pfeiffer. I laughed so much, and like no one else was laughing. So, I mean, there were like 12 people in the theatre. It was so dark, but it's so weird, and it was really funny. I thought it was really funny. But anyway, I enjoyed it. Very weird, but great acting by the majority of the characters. And Michelle Pfeiffer was just fantastic in the lead as Frances in French Exit. I've not read the book, but I really want to read it now, so I'm going to look that out because it's a strange little story. So if you like quirky and dark humour, then I recommend, if you can suspend your disbelief, yeah, it's worth watching. Saturday we had a stitching day. Judith and Sam came around. You may know Sam from Mind My Needle with her FLOSSTUBE video, and Judith, who makes bags and sells them to raise funds for Outpoured on our New Zealand Facebook group. They came around, we had a lovely stitching day. Yeah, it was cool. So I haven't really had people around to stitch before, so it was kind of nice. And we even FaceTimed with Sian in Australia. So, hey Sian, not on the orange couch of Serenity right now, obviously, but look at my fancy new fridge. Oh my God, I love it so much. I do need to move it a little bit that way so the center line lines up with the top. So having now look at it with this angle, I need to do that. So, but yeah, very excited. Still excited about my fridge. So it takes, you know, simple things, simple needs. Yeah, so that's pretty much what's been going on. Full week of work ahead for me this week, which is going to be the first full week of work for several weeks. So that's going to be a challenge. But I'm looking forward to, yeah, getting back into a routine, so to speak. This time in 6 weeks, the New Zealand Stitching Retreat will be coming to a close, so that's kind of freaky. That's down in Christchurch, and we're looking forward to it, especially those of us who helped organise the Wellington one. The fact that we're not organising this is like a bonus, because there's a lot of work goes into it. It does take a little bit of the joy out of those sorts of things, because, you know, if something goes wrong or if people need stuff, it's us they're going to come to. So looking forward to going down to Christchurch, having a weekend away and spending some time with new friends and old as in last year, but you know, old friends now. I do have a couple of FFOs. So these have been with the these have been with a framer since September, and they've just had so much trouble with supply issues trying to get frames in, and they finally managed to get them framed. Now these are old stitches from 2004. I have no idea who the designer is. They were borrowed from a colleague. The chart was borrowed from a colleague back then, and they've been just sitting in my frame pile for a million years. So they're a little pair, and I was thinking about framing them myself, and then I just couldn't find a frame I liked, and I was like, you know what, let's pay ridiculous prices for custom framing. So I didn't get museum glass, I just went with conservation glass for these, and there's ribbon embroidery and French knots, and I went, the charms were not part of the chart, I just went a little bit nuts with the charms. So I don't know where they're going to hang yet. Eventually they'll be part of, I guess, just a wall of stitching. My walls are a bit big to have these two little pieces on right now, but I will, yeah, I don't know, they'll just hang somewhere in the meantime, but yeah. So yeah, the charms were back when I was stitching these. I found the little tiny bee and the butterfly and the dragonfly, and I just was like, oh yeah, I want to put all the charms on the piece. So I went a bit nuts, which is why I went with this quite fancy gold frame, just to bring out the gold in those. Yeah, so they finally have been framed. So quite excited to get 2 more things framed. And I dropped off 2 pieces to get framed. My Quaker Seasons of Friendship, and you know, because it's quite high on the list because I love it so. And the Twisted Band, I want to say Twisted Band Sampler, the Twisted Band Sampler from Northern Expressions Needlework, that is with the called for silk and specialty stitches. So I'm going with quite simple frames for those, and the framer doesn't think that there'll be such a drama getting the frames in for those, so fingers crossed you'll see them this side of Christmas. But yes, it's quite exciting to get real progress done. I have so much stuff to finish, but we'll get there, eh? When Judith came in yesterday, she brought some stuff that I purchased ages ago. She was making some floss rings for the Outpoured charity, and so I'm a cat lover who doesn't have a cat, and that's because of I like my freedom right now, but one day I'll get a cat again. I do, yeah, I haven't had a cat for a few years, but I've been living with people who have had cats, so there's this one. She made these. No outfit is complete without cat fur, and it has a little charm that says cat person. It's quite cute with the little cat ears, and another one that says catnip dealer with a little pussycat, little black cat. Yeah, catnip dealer, so cute. And then she also made a custom one for me because she had some pictures. Anyway, I sent her a picture of my cat who was no longer around, Possum, who I love Possum so much. So here's Possum, and just with a little silver cat charm as well. So that's Possum, my beautiful ginger, plush ginger Moggy. She was a lovely kitty. So yeah, those were, basically I said to Judith, don't post them, like it's a waste of money, so just, you know, like none of this is urgent. So yeah, it's nice to have those in my possession. So they are new to the stash. And last week I talked about how I had purchased a couple of charts from Stitch and Mommy when she had a sale on for, I think it was 9,000 subscribers, I think. And these are her 2, it's Herschel and Lucy. I couldn't remember the name of the bird. So this was the first one that these are charts that she's charting, and her niece, I think it's her niece Felicity, is doing the designs, doing the artwork. So this one is called An Introduction. So Lucy's the ladybug and Herschel is the bird. And then the other one is, the second in the series is feeling fancy. So Herschel has a top hat and a monocle, and Lucy has, I think it's a feather boa and a bow or something. Anyway, they're kind of cute. So they'll just go in the stash. Part of it's about just supporting people. And another bit of stash that has come my way was a pass the stash from Sam. So she finished this recently, the Palm Street Harvard Keeper, and offered it to a few of us. And I was like, yeah, I think it's quite cool. I'm not sure about the hat because she looks a bit witchy and I don't really want her to be a witch, so I might modify the hat a little bit or make it look more like a bonnet or something. But I love those bee skips and I love the frame, the border. So yeah, that again, I don't know when I'll stitch it, but it's cool to have it. So yeah, I'll put that in the stash. So that is all of my acquisitions. Yeah, 2 FFOs, some bits and pieces into my stash, and I've done a little bit of stitching. So I haven't ironed anything today, I'm sorry. First up we've got, every time, I really need to glue this down because I hold this bit of paper and it's not stuck to the card and it falls off my hands. So R-Kade by Long Dog Samplers on 36 count Geyser linen from Country Stitch. I'm using SILKS4U PR137, DMC 500 and Kreinik blending filament. I never can read that, a 085, just from my stash. I started it last September. And in its fantastically unironed state, I basically added my initials. That's all I had to do to finish the bottom. I can't even see. It's all I had to do to finish that bottom. I guess it's 3/5 of the pattern. So yeah, I just added my initials down here. And now I've got that fantastic strip of foliage to go across here, and then the, I guess, motto or saying, and the tops of kind of similar, smaller down here. I could just show you the picture, for those of you who haven't seen it 1 million times. So yeah. So this is that foliage to do, then the saying, and then the tops of the trees. Or I call these trees like roots or whatever. So yeah, good chunk of it done. And this is gonna be probably really boring and repetitive, but it's fine. I'm gonna go through and do all the, I guess, yeah, I don't know. I'm just gonna work through it. That'll be what's next up on that. So that is feeling closer to done than it was a month or so ago. So that's pretty much all I did on Monday, was just get my initials in. And then on Friday night, I picked up Hoity Toity. So, it's a Long Dog Samplers week, which is on 36 count Feijoa linen, also from Country Stitch, and I'm stitching that with, I don't know what, I've changed another colour again. Like, there's a few of the stitches, I've got a couple of colours, depending on whether they're against the background or surrounded by black, and I change them, because there's one green that is too light just on the background fabric, but it's okay if it's surrounded by black or colour. And the other next green up from that I find is too close to one of the other greens, so I just randomise it. So yeah, I started in June, and I think that I'll definitely get this finished. Basically, I think I'll probably focus on both of these over the next couple of months to get them finished. So I picked this up on Friday, and I started on one of the baskets, and then yesterday when the ladies were here stitching, I just about finished this basket. I think I had a tiny little bit to do still. The leaves. And then this morning I picked it up and I finished, by lunchtime I finished the other basket. So that whole bottom section is now done. I think it looks really lovely. So I'll show you the whole thing. So I think I'll do the top section next and I'll finish with the middle, which has the date and the initials. So that's Hoity Toity. It was really fun to kind of be able to sit down and do some stitching, because I haven't really stitched for the last 3 weeks much at all, and I've missed it because stitching makes me happy and it makes me calm and relaxed. So yeah, I'm really pleased to get that done. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to show you. I do have a couple of, I guess I got a little bit of haul that's coming. I did put in a bit of a quite sizable order for from Needlework Expo. I went a little bit nuts, but I decided to treat myself because I needed some retail therapy. So I've got a few things coming. I know I can remember what a couple of things are. I can't remember what the rest is. That'll be a surprise for me as well. And a couple of things coming from Teresa Kitten Stitcher as well, including a really funky, I think, Hands Across the Sea chart that she had on overstock discounts that help pay for the shipping. Basically, yeah, it's like the shipping was free because I got discount on a couple of things. What else? And still waiting for my, I've forgotten now, was it March SILKS4U? Yeah, I've just paid April, so I think I'm still waiting for March SILKS4U, and I've just paid, I've got a couple of months at Victoria Motto Sampler Shop coming as well. That's fabric and floss. So there's a little bit to come over the next, let's say, month. Which is exciting, and depending on when my bits and pieces roll in and whether I change my mind or not, probably I'm going to have a new start at the retreat, and that's all I'm going to take is the new start. So at the moment it's a way we ride, but it might not be that. It might be one of the new things that are coming, depending on whether I can kit it up or not. Yeah, so I'm very excited about that. Yeah, it's something to look forward to. So that's it, short and sweet today. I'm going to sign off and make myself a cold drink because it's quite warm here today. Then get the laundry in and finish watching the final of season 2 of Line of Duty. I'm a wee bit behind, but wow, is that intense or what? Okay, thanks a lot for all your support. Enjoy your stitching, and thanks in advance for your kind comments. As always, don't let your needles rust. Ciao.